He's giving away a crore, guys.
We will give people option on the 1st of April 2025 to either choose $1,000 or choose 1,000 shares in Chatwise.
Like, do you have proof about this?
I didn't think you would ask that question.
Why did you leave your 250,000 pound job, which is 2.5 crore every year? You left that to start this company, and you're giving away 60% of your company, just like that.
We are calling first 10 lakh users co-founders. We've actually built a special icon for the first 10 lakh users. It's called SH. And
Sharon Hegde.
The moment we get 5 lakh users and you're getting a equity in a company for free.
So how will I get my shares?
So
on today's episode, we have somebody who's not from this country, who used to be from this country, but now has moved to the UK, has become financially independent, and has just started a company. And guess what? He is giving away 60% of his company to you guys. That's right. This is the first time ever this is being announced, guys. You're hearing this for the first time on this episode. The whole world gets to know about it right now. 60% of this company is going to be given to you viewers. So you literally might be a millionaire by watching this particular episode. So make sure to watch till the end. Mr. Gagan, how was that introduction? Does that suffice what we are trying to do today?
it is brilliant.
So, what was your last salary before you decided to start your own company?
You see, that's the other thing. In England, there's a big taboo talk about salaries,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
But we are not in England. It's a bigger taboo here, but it doesn't matter.
So if it helps, so I was on around
250,000 pounds. So now tell me, why did you leave your 250,000 pound job, which is 2.5 crore every year? You left that to start this company, and you're giving away 60% of your company, just like that. So what's happening?
The idea was when I was buying Facebook stock. So I think this is where it all started. Back in the day, when I first bought Facebook stock, I was following their investor reports.
Yeah.
One thing I learned, the company has no assets, right? People
Correct.
it has no, like if you go to Reliance Industries, you know, in any accounting terms, they have a lot of assets in the company. You know, if people stop using, you can sell your plant, machinery, all sorts of things. These companies had nothing. The real assets are people. The majority of the users of Facebook are Indians. I don't know if you guys know that. India is by far the biggest market, the fast growth market. And none of them own any share, right? All the shares of Meta are with few people in America. They are making, it's $1 trillion company. And all the workers are here in India. This is very unfair because all the wealth is coming from India, is transferred out of India to US. And we thought, how do you do something against it? You know? And we thought, we actually saw by fun, like, what about somebody made the company and gave it to people?
But very, very interesting that this is what the world has come to. So tell me what Chatwise is doing differently. Like your entire philosophy is that why should a few companies own all our time, right? And make money out of it. You're saying the users of the app, based on whose time money is being made, they should also own a certain equity in that company. That is your entire philosophy.
Absolutely.
And you're ready to walk the talk by giving away 60% of the company. So tell us, like, that's what we promised the users, that you could be a millionaire by watching this. So tell our users, how can they get equity in your company?
For the first 10 lakh users,
This is 1 million users.
first 1 million users, every single user will be able to download the app and have a 30-day streak and get 30 shares. And then if you invite 10 friends, you get 20 more shares. And if you post 10 times, you get some more shares. So this is the start.
So how will I get my shares? Like, do I need to have a demat account? Like, how does that work?
So what we've done, you know, when you go on Instagram, you do your referral, you get yourself verified. We have the same method of verification, but with verification, we also do the KYC, which is the requirement of the company's house. So what we do, we know who you are. Currently, we have a system where each person has a user ID, which is unique. And as soon as you keep getting shares, we put those shares on our backend against each user ID. So
Because the KYC has been done, so it's allocated.
yes, so you're getting option to get that many shares. When we do an IPO, that's the time these people can exit. Initial public offering. When
Where will you IPO, India or UK?
we will do both. We are making plans. We have to be doing IPO in India as well.
And the reason you're doing it in India is because you said most of the users of the incumbent social media platforms are Indians.
Majority of them, yes.
Yeah.
Because as the third India is getting phones,
Yeah.
everybody is getting on Instagram, and that's partly baked into their share price. Why their share price is going so fast
It's
is
because
they
India is growing, digitizing.
the outside investors are loving the exposure to India without having to invest in India because
Yeah.
they're getting this exposure.
And the Geo just made it faster.
Exactly, Geo made it faster, and but who is really benefiting it?
I completely blown away with this analysis where you're saying that these social media companies are like the modern day colonialism. And I just read this report recently. There's like India 1, India 2, India 3. India 1 has about 12 crore Indians who are earning upwards of 7-8 lakhs per annum. That's India 1. Those are the people that we all know, you know. Then there's India 2, which is about 30 crore Indians who are earning about 2 to 3 lakhs per annum. These are the aspirants who are not even middle class, but you know, the lower middle class. And then there is India 3, which is almost 100 crore people who are earning less than 1 lakh every year. Now, if you look at the companies which are there in India, all the sexy companies that we've heard of, you know, the Zomato, Swiggy, Paytm, Zerodha, you know, all of these, Netflix, all of these are just targeting India 1, which is 12 crore. Then your Amazon and Flipkart, they are targeting India 2 as well. But India 3, which is like 100 crore people, WhatsApp, Facebook,
Yep.
YouTube,
Yep.
Google, all of these are targeting them. And then you might wonder, these guys don't have money. They're making less than 1 lakh a year. How the hell are these people making money? How is Google and WhatsApp and Facebook making money from the people making less than 1 lakh a year in India? And the money is not being made from them. The money is being made from their time
Absolutely.
and being sold
Yeah.
to companies for selling advertisements.
Absolutely.
Right? And there's nothing wrong in that. But what is wrong is that our time, which is, let's say, India's time, is not owned by Indians.
Exactly.
It is owned by another company in the West.
Yeah.
And we don't even know it. And they're making so much money that their valuation, like if you look at just Google and Microsoft put together, is bigger than the whole fucking India.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is so unfair according to me. At the end of the day, a social media platform works when there are creators as well. So how do you incentivize creators to come on that platform? Like, for example, the chicken and egg problem, right?
Yes.
How do you get the people when there is nobody else to
Yes.
talk about it? When your friends are not there. Like, why would I install an app if my friends are not there and if there are no creators over there? So,
Like you said, chicken and egg. Creators want to go where the followers are. And if we don't have followers, there are no creators. So currently, we're not even pitching at creators. We know the first thing has to be users.
So there has been a lot of companies trying to replicate what the Facebook and YouTube, Google has done in India also, but they've not been able to succeed at the scale or the level, especially among India 1 kind of people, right? India 1 still wants to go to your Instagram and YouTube and all of that, but they've been quite successful with India 2 and India 3 because they've not really had a smartphone before, and so these Indian apps, I think like Moj and all of them, right? So they've been able to capture India 2, India 3. But how do you look at it? Like, do you think you'll be successful with India 1 people also to get on this app? And why?
But one thing none of the company has done is they've tried to pay influencers to come and post. So we understand Moj, I don't know, I've been told all these apps, they pay influencers to come and post on their app. We don't do that.
It's quite believable. They would have done that in the beginning.
We are going a different way because it's the India 3 and the people have not been given the value till now. So what we are doing, I'm announcing here today, so we can be held accountable for this. The moment we get 5 lakh users, $100,000 we've put in a different bank account, and I will be held accountable. I'm saying this today that
Like, do you have proof about this?
Funny you said that. Let me. I didn't think you would ask that question, but now that you have asked,
£100,000. So that's almost like a crore.
so $100,000, yes, almost like a crore. But because we put aside £100,000 just in case there is more fluctuation of the dollar and pound, although we don't expect it that much. But in this account, we put £100,000, which is
You
of
get that?
which, right?
He's giving away a crore, guys.
But here's the deal, right? We will give people option on the 1st of April 2025 to either choose $1,000 or choose 1,000 shares in Chatwise, right? And I'm
So basically, the most engaging users on the app.
most engaged on the app, most engaged on the app. And with that, and the reason I say that is I'm hoping by that time we will have millions of users and company will be valued a lot. I don't want to put a figure, but normally if you are a 10 to 15 million daily active users, the company is valued, we think, could be over $1 billion.
10 to 15 million daily active users.
Yeah.
So about 1 crore to 1.5 crore people come on the app every day. The company can be valued at $1 billion.
Yeah, normally the rule is $100 to $200 per daily active user. Facebook, $400. That's how market is currently valued them.
Wow.
And we think 100 to 200 is quite pessimistic. It might be even more. So if you have 10 million users, daily active users, times by 100, that's $1 billion. If you get the share, so in our survey, when we did to people, actually 40% people said they won't join Chatwise. And I'm being very honest, and I was like quite disappointed. But when we look deeper into the data, people who had finance qualification, 90% said they would because you've got nothing to lose and you're getting a equity in a company for free. It's the typical value investing.
But what your survey was trying to say is that people who've been investing in stocks or who have a finance background are more likely to install your app because they understand the value of equity.
Far more likely, and they will be our first customers. That's how we feel the problem will be solved. We will first have a lot of finance, but then they will invite their friends because we're offering price on how many friends you invite. And we want them to tell their friends the benefit of having shares.
So the network effect will start happening.
Effect. And my personal agenda actually is we can teach more people about shares and finance because we're not a tech company. We call ourselves a type of fintech.
Social fintech company.
Yes, because we are using the power of finance for good of the world. We are a medium. We built the company. Now it's up to people.
So it's sort of like you're saying you build the tools for people to sort of build their own wealth.
We are calling first 10 lakh users co-founders because they will come and help us refine our app, get the word out. They're not just users. We've actually built a special icon for the first 10 lakh users. It's called SH. And
Sharon Hegde.
You will have a special icon, I can tell you that. And then under the icon, we will say how many shares they have. And once we do an IPO, these people will be able to sell their shares. But we've decided they will always have their icon because they are the original people who get us off the ground, break that chicken and egg problem.
Yeah.
They will always be important to us. We're building a voting system where people can vote on the decisions. These people will always have a separate vote, even when they sell their shares, because when we're sending to vote, you could be a user, but if you're a shareholder, your vote counts more. So we would even be putting who should be the CEO. If people don't want me, they vote me out. That's
if all my followers are gonna come, they might more vote me as the CEO.
Then you're the CEO. I would happily. Yeah, that's the danger I didn't think about.
Tell me this. I read about you, so I know that you come from this small town in Rohtak. How does someone like that end up in UK, being a millionaire and running a company?
My story is very different to most people who end up in the UK or other countries. I grew up in a small town, and My father was not at home. Then we just had my mum who had a job. Because of that, we survived.
Right.
So my mum had a job. She was working in a government school.
So, like, what was the annual income of your family back when you were in Rohtak?
I think it was around 6 to 7 thousand rupees. It was in this. We're talking a long time ago.
This is per month.
Per month.
Okay.
I remember, I was the budgeter of the family. So my mom would bring money. I remember I'm like class.
So you were
5.
destined to be the CA.
If in any month we forgot to budget for like a wedding or my friend's birthdays where you have to give gifts, on 29th, we were out of money. And I remember my mom used to be so embarrassed on 29th. How do I get money to go to the school? And she would plan for 3 hours before she will call her brother. He would lend her 200 rupees. And that's what gave me the resilience to save and invest. When I had my first big job of £100,000, I started saving maximum that's allowed in the UK.
No, but before we get to that, how did you get out of this trap? Was there like a stroke of luck here?
I think it's luck, but also this is a nice story. So when I was little, I had a auntie, my bua, who lived in London, and I started writing letters to her. And to my surprise, she started replying. And I think this was my first lesson when I first asked her, could I come to England? I wanted to study in England and grow in England. And to our total surprise, she literally said, I'm going to the lawyer to get the sponsorship and I'll pay the money for you to come, which was, I think I still say to people are prepared to help you if you ask the right question, if you ask the right way.
You mentioned that while you were in Rohtak, your family was making like 15,000 rupees a month. And you were the one who was doing the accounting for the family and, dividing up the expenses. Fast forward to this point, when you're now making 1 crore every year, what is the shift in your behavior when it comes to finances? Like, did you all of a sudden start spending more or were you the same?
I talked about my mum borrowing 200 rupees and I always reminded myself of that. And investment, and I say this to everyone, is not about making decisions, about consumption today versus consumption tomorrow. So what I did, every time I earned more money, I did not let it come to my bank. I invested it even before it hit me. And I gave myself a rule every time I treated myself, like when I first bought a BMW, every time I spent money on nice cars or nice things for myself, I spent same money on investing on something to keep to my discipline, because I think this is the key cause. I say to my sister all the time, she just spends. I'm like, I remind her, remember, mommy borrowed 200 rupees. But so I think that's the key: consumption today versus consumption tomorrow. If you have the strength to not consume today, you can make wonders.
You can consume more tomorrow.
A lot more, and you buy yourself time and freedom to do things.
Now tell me, what has been your investing strategy, right? Because today, if I'm not wrong, you're worth 30 crores.
So I invested quite a lot in tech stocks. So I bought Apple, Google, Facebook. 70% of my money was always going in tech stocks.
Okay.
But the other 30%, I invested in water company stocks.
What company stocks?
Like utility stocks.
What are these? Like utility as in like power grid, electricity?
Yeah, so when you're on the train and you see these electricity poles with lines next to it, they will always be alive. Government will never let them fail.
Yeah, so you invested 30% of your money in such safe companies. 70% is in tech companies.
Yes, so these are
Can you give me one example of a stock that you picked in the tech sector? What price you bought it for and what is the current price today?
In England, you have this Skyscanner. It's a Scottish company. So when I was traveling, a friend of mine told me about this company called MakeMyTrip.com. I started using Make My Trip app. But one thing I did, as I traveled city to city, or I was booking hotels, and I found that for same flight, for the same hotels, Make My Trip was giving me much better price. And normally we know in travel, people who travel a lot, we know it's highly competitive. Normally, you get the same flight price. You go on Expedia or Skyscanner. But how is this company beating it? I was thinking, what's going wrong? Is it for real? And then I thought, all their operations are in India, and they're passing the efficiency to the user. I loved the company. And then as I did, I went on their website trying to see where is this company, and found the founder. And I heard him give a investor brief, and I was like, I'm in love with this company. I just wanted to invest. I went in and I pumped 15,000 pounds into MMYT.
That's like 15 lakhs.
15 lakh rupees, yes, yeah. And this was 2014, I think. And I forgot about it.
Okay.
And I am not going to sell it. I'm going to keep going.
So it was how many dollars?
I think it was $13 or $14 when I bought it. And now it's $70. So
it's 5x.
It's 5x.
Like your equity, like how much are you getting?
If I look at the total money I've invested, about 750,000, and that has over the years gone up to around 2 million. So I mean, you could calculate sort of the annual return, but I never look at my portfolio. It gives me stress. So I just only buy good companies and I forget about them.
Very, I'm personally excited to see how this is all going to pan out. I will personally definitely install the app and get my equity and be a co-founder. But
it's by your name, SH.
Yes, such, right? But very, very excited to see how this pans out. All right, guys. On that note, I'll see you in the next one.